Hi, welcome to the first episode of The Mind of an Interior Designer. Today's special guest is a very good friend of mine, Jessica May Design.
Hi.
Hi, Jess. Welcome to the podcast. I've realised
you.
this is literally the first time we've seen each other in person.
Ever.
Like, literally. We were
Literally.
like keeping each other company during lockdown. I was
How long have
literally
we actually been speaking for? It's got to be a good year, hasn't it?
I think I was just like so fangirling
Oh.
you over your work, and you were like, "Who's this crazy girl?" Honestly. But
no,
just
it's amazing.
tell everyone what you do, what you're about, because I love your work, as you know.
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm an interior designer. I've got my own interior design business, and so my business specialises in 3D visual design. So that's how I communicate all of my designs to clients. That's sort of what my business specialises in. And yeah, they're just kind of finding my feet in the industry, really. It's a crazy one, but yeah, it's amazing.
You are absolutely amazing at 3D visuals. I think
Thank
I
you.
always say this, like, this is how I first discovered you. I was like, I don't know anyone who's just amazing at all of like this SketchUp stuff. And then I
Yeah.
found you and I was like, wow, the detail of your
know,
work
it's-
is insane. That must take you like forever and a day.
It does, but it is worth it. Like, you don't, so many people, I mean, sort of a typical render as such. So you get your sort of 3D model, and then once you've got all your scenes set, so once you've created the entire design, you set your scenes, and then you do what's called an individual render for each scene. That should take about anywhere between sort of 20 and 45 minutes, but some of mine, so one I've literally just done, took about 20 hours per scene, because there's just so much detail in there, but it does really make such a massive difference.
Yeah.
Just down to, sort of how reflective a certain texture is, it really does make that amount of difference.
I think as well, like the time you take is the things like people don't see behind what goes on. Because I feel like people just think, oh, I'll show you my room, and then you can just say this, that, and then that's done. But really, you're spending 20 hours sourcing everything, designing it, doing the 3D work.
Yeah.
And it's more so sometimes the background as opposed
100%.
to what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Some people don't quite get it. Like when I sort of say like, oh yeah, it's a 4 to 5 week wait on the visuals, it genuinely does take me that long, because not only am I physically doing those, so if I've found, say, a sofa, I've got to model that sofa first, and then I put it into the space, and then I render it. But it's not just all the model inside of it, it's the physical, it's making the design as well. So it's creating the design prior to that, and then communicating that design in the form of a 3D model. So it does take a long time, but it is worth it.
Yeah, definitely, because I think as well for the client, it gives that better viewpoint, and as opposed like just saying, oh well, I think the couch should go there.
Yeah.
They can physically like see it in a sort of like manifestation point of view, where you literally go, here it is, and this is what the end product's going to be. So it gives them a better visual idea.
You can't genuinely like just being in the industry officially being in the industry about sort of 4 years, but in terms of qualified for say a year, there's nothing like it. You cannot compare a 3D visual to anything else. It doesn't, such a standard practice is very much floor plan, sample board, and then just kind of communicating it whilst you've got a fabric sample in your hand and showing them, well, that's going to go on that sofa there. And you can't compare 3D visuals to anything like them. Like, they genuinely are such a luxury. But for me, they're a massive necessity. Like, you can't communicate anywhere near as well without them as you can with them.
No, I definitely agree, because I feel like your ideas in your head,
you
can't sometimes. I don't think I can get the words out.
It's impossible.
I'm like, I know what I'm saying, but I don't think I'm getting through to you. Like the amount of conversations I've had, I'm like, yeah, do you know what I mean? And they're like, and I'm like, no, okay, we'll do a 3D design. It's so much better.
The amount of times I'm like trying to explain something, and they're like, not quite got you. So I'm just like, right, okay, give me 2 seconds, let me draw it, and then I'll show you. And it does just make such a massive difference.
Now, what made you want to do like more so the 3D visuals? Because did you start with that in mind? Because I feel like when I started, it wasn't like always there, and as like feel like the evolution of interior design and technology, it's kind of, as you say, a necessity. So did you want to do that?
I think for me, obviously, I did my diploma, and then I did my degree, and I very much kind of did it off my own back. It wasn't like a requirement of the degree or anything. I think I was just I'm very, very OCD with stuff, so I want to make sure that I've done everything. I think I saw 3D visuals on somebody else's work or some form of Instagram platform, and I just thought, you know what, that'd be amazing. And I just feel like when I was trying to communicate my ideas to my tutor, I just kind of felt like that was the best way to do it. Prior, I was doing it with floor plans and then sketches, which I'm horrendous with. And I just sort of thought, that's it. I've got to do it. I've got to learn it. And I tried to teach myself first. I tried to teach myself with probably about a year and a half. Tried to teach myself. And honestly, my first ever visual, it was so bad. Like I submitted it and I was really proud of it. And I look back at it now and it's awful.
I hate that, when you probably said proud of something at the time and look back and you're like, that was horrendous.
Yeah, it was. So then when I finally did the course, I did a course on it and actually invested into learning it properly. And it's honestly the best thing I've ever done. Like I just decided to do it because more from a communication point of view. I wanted my tutor to essentially exactly how I feel about clients now. I want them to really understand where my head is at with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's nothing like it. There's nothing the same in the market that can communicate your ideas well enough to that standard that 3D visuals can.
So would you definitely recommend for anyone starting out to definitely get involved in that?
Yeah, I think definitely if you're wanting to have your own interior design business, I definitely believe that, and it really isn't a widely offered thing, in the design industry, because they're very time consuming, and it isn't something that you can just give to say, I mean, you can just say, give it to a technician or give it to say somebody who's doing the drafting for you, for example. So it is something that designers typically only offer as an extra, or they'll not offer it at all. Some designers do. Some designers offer it as a standard, like we say that there's nothing, you can't compare it to anything. But I do genuinely believe in 2 years' time, everybody will be doing it. Yeah. Because there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I feel like they'll have to as well, because it's just like, as you say, some say, it's standard in like the price that you get for the service, and others might say it's not. But I feel like, as you said, you just don't get that same vision. You don't for your end product, and you don't know what you're paying for, because if you obviously went to like an architect and they were like, this is the drawing, that's what it's going to look like, even a visual you get off an architect. Yeah. I think you should do it the same for interiors, because you need to see that end product all the time. Yeah. Like, obviously 2D is just amazing. Like, people who have the time to even do that is like another level. Yeah. But like, even 3D, like I seen, I forgot what the show was called, but did you see that show where they did people's houses and like
virtual reality?
Virtual reality. Yeah. Oh my God, amazing.
I was trying to think this morning, what it's called, and I can't remember what it's called. And I love is it Laura, the designer on it? Yeah. I love her as well.
Fab.
She's an architect, but I love her work. I can't remember what it's called. But it's definitely going there as well. Like the industry is 100%, like in 5 years, everyone will be going through virtual
That's amazing.
reality.
Like, I think, imagine if I was able to like give my clients a proper
I know. Like, there you go, put your goggles on.
I know. Put your goggles on, see your room. Like, to me, that is like another level of like technology. Like, imagine that.
They can walk through it.
Yeah, walking through your own house and seeing, like, I'd be like putting it on in here and seeing like this as the vision. It's honestly, it astounds me, because when you think about it, that was introduced for gamers and things like that, and like other areas can then use it, like designers and things. I think I need this will be in our business.
This is the next thing I need. I need it. Like, I think this is the next thing. I'm gonna get it in my head, and once it's in my head, I just won't get it out. I'll just have to like, right, I'm gonna get a virtual reality side now.
No, literally. No. So have you found, like, since obviously we met in lockdown, a year on, but I feel like getting back into like the swing of things for interior designers has been like proper difficult. Yeah. Do you find that like it's a bit touch and go, because I feel like a lot of people were very involved in interiors during lockdown? Yeah. I think they seen the house for like what it was.
It's made people realise the importance of the space, hasn't it? Definitely.
So do you feel like you've been like busier, quieter? Any advice you give to people who are in design at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I started my business in lockdown purely because I was so busy. I didn't even have any plans to start a business when I did, but I got that many messages. I took on a project for just a house near me, and I posted it, and before you know it, I had like 10, 15 people booked in. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start a business.
That. Was that like the 3D visuals you've had? The farmhouse. Put up, and you changed your feed.
Yeah, I changed it. That's it. I did it. Yeah, I did. I deleted all my dog pictures, like deleted all the pictures of me.
That's the old me.
I was like, right, this is professional me now. Yeah, so literally that was, so I started my business in lockdown, and honestly, I've never known like busyness like it. Like I want to turn around to myself when I was 18 who thought she was busy and tired and just like slap her because she didn't have a clue what busy and tired was like. But yeah, I mean, I know some people have struggled in terms of a lot of some designers I know, they'll only work remotely.
Yeah.
So that's been quite hard for them, obviously, because they do, essentially you've not been able to go into people's houses and you can't.
It's been hard,
yeah. But if I'm honest, I haven't known many people in the industry whatsoever be quiet. I think it's like everybody all the suppliers I work with and the tradespeople that I work with, they've been busier than they've ever been.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I think that's like people being, as I say, awake to interior design, because I feel like you've sat in your house for months and you're thinking, oh my God, does my house really look like this? Am I just walking in, going to bed and not realising the space?
It's just giving people time, I think. It's giving people time to reflect and just sort of realise, like on a personal level as well, like people have really sort of like tried to improve themselves, haven't they? Like I did, when I was in lockdown, I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do workouts every day. And
new me coming out of lockdown.
Like, still same in 2021. Don't know what happened. But yeah, so and I think that happened with people's houses as well and people's workspaces and everything. I think people sort of really understood, like just looked at things and they thought, oh, I've never noticed that. I don't like that before. And I really do believe COVID literally helped our industry more than it.
Oh, 100%.
It's gonna make our industry.
Yeah, like even like Instagram accounts, like people making home accounts, people buying houses now because of like the situation they're in.
Yeah.
I think it's just grew massively, which is obviously a bonus for us, if anything.
Yeah.
But also good for other people because it's like, well, actually, you need to think about the space you're living in.
Yeah.
And even like the effects it's having on like your mental health, your well-being, just everything. It's your home, like it's your reflection of your home is you, kind. Do you know what I mean?
And I think, so a lot of my work is commercial as well. So I've got a lot of salons on at the moment, and people are again starting to realise the interior of your space is so important to an experience.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of related, I suppose, in a way to how people have started to reflect on where they live. It's now starting to translate on where you work, which is it's all dependent on an experience, and interiors do massively affect that. Like you can have an amazing service and an amazing brand, but if your interior space doesn't give something, offer something different, then you're kind of not hitting that mark.
Yeah, if it sucks, basically.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice, but yeah.
No, well, do you know what? I think that's so true about the whole experience, because I literally went, have you heard of that Bougie in Liverpool?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So I went there and I thought, I've literally, like, as mad as it sounds, like you've gone there for the experience of it.
You do.
You've gone there because you've been influenced by social media and everything surrounding it. And I've thought, oh my God, like, I've literally come here because of Instagram.
I know.
And that is what's happening. Like, obviously interior design's important, but it's like if someone is even open something like you're saying commercial, like salons, you've got to think of that as a designer.
It's got to be
Instagrammable, that next level. You're competing with all these amazing commercial, and I think for me, like, it's a lot of pressure sometimes, because I've had a few clients in the past who are like, I want it to be Instagrammable, I want it to be different, and it's like trying to think of that different, like, is time consuming as well as all the other factors.
It really is.
Because you've got to make the experience, like you said. Like, I just love that because it's so true. Like, interior design is becoming an experience, and I'm finding as well that retailers as well are shifting so much to provide more of an experience for customers.
They are.
So they're
100%.
doing that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Like restaurants, it's all about, everything is driven by social media.
Yes.
Everything is driven by it. Like if you can provide a space that is pretty to take a picture, you've got a free marketing platform.
Oh, 100%. That's literally it. A pretty picture.
Yeah, like it literally
awful,
is, isn't
it's
it?
True.
It is. And if you can create an experience that people enjoy and they can film themselves enjoying it, you're laughing.
No, it's literally like the whole surroundings of the marketing, which like goes to show, like, as well, like, the importance of actually paying for that. Yeah. Like, if you've got, like, you've just paid for all, like, the shell as such, even the building. If the inside's terrible and you haven't hired that great interiors person, you've wasted so much, haven't you? Yeah,
and it's there's so many things that you don't consider when you don't look at it from an interior design perspective. I was actually having this conversation the other day about sort of 3D visuals and how, because you can there's sort of two sides to 3D visuals and the way like I do them and interior designers do them. So you have a 3D technician that can do 3D visuals. So for say like an architect or just generally like a visualizing company, but then to add the interior design outlook on those visuals, that's where the difference is. So any sort of developer or any client can go to a visualization company and say, can you visualize this interior space for me? But they're not looking at that space from an interior design perspective. So they're not thinking, how is this space going to feel? They're going to get a list with sofa, coffee table, floor plan, floor lamp, and they'll tick it off. While as an interior designer's looking at it from so many other angles. And that's, I mean, again, going back to the 3D visuals, and that's the beauty of them, is that you can, once you've made a decision, you can scrap that decision and just go, nope, delete, I don't like it, and move on, because there's so many benefits to it. But from a commercial sort of point of view, from offering that experience, it is just, there's so much more to it now.
Yeah.
And there is just, again, so much more to interior design now. There's so much more to consider and to think about. And it's a lot.
Which then stems to like the fact of like pricing and things, when people act shocked and you're like, well, no, because I'm going to spend 20 hours on a design for you to be Instagrammable, to get your marketing insanely perfect.
Yeah.
And it's like that first, like, oh, you wouldn't question, like, I think we spoke about this before actually, when you're like getting an extension or when you're paying for the building, you wouldn't go, oh well, like I'm paying like however much, but when it comes to the so you're paying for
it's
the
like
shell.
now, you know, again, particularly with things like planning permission, you know, architects are an absolute necessity. Like you have to get an architect, because of course they, you know, they apply for the planning permission for you and they do all your applications and things. But for me, I obviously I want interior design to become just as much of a necessity as an architect. You know, you're spending all this money to essentially plan how bricks are going to be laid to form this beautiful interior space, and then you're going to neglect the interior space. Yeah. And that's, for me, that's like, you know, why? You know,
we are so underrated is basically what you're saying.
I mean, and it is, I do, I mean, I've had it quite a lot when I sort of tell people that I'm an interior designer. Some people really get it and they're like, oh, but a lot of people go, and they think we fluff cushions.
Yes.
They do.
It's so true.
People think that interior designers fluff cushions, they get a colour swatch and they put colours together. That's what people think interior designers do. Like,
it's offensive, to be honest.
Yeah, like, no, I've not studied for 4 years to be able to do that. Like, I've not, we think about so many other things that you, like, other people don't even consider.
Like, even sometimes it sounds daft and a bit much, but like the science behind
things, all sorts, anything. Like what colours like say instigate a reaction, what colours, you know, instigate calm, what, you know, even down to things like at the moment I'm having to consider things like fire ratings and building regulations, and there is so much to it. And that of course, I think there is a very much a connotation behind interior designers only being there for the rich and the wealthy. But the beauty of my service and your service is the fact that you can spread that service. So I've got, say, like 3 offerings where I have a consultancy service. So I just charge by the hour for a little bit of advice. You've then obviously got the visual package, which is I then create the design and give you that package to then implement that design yourself, or then do the whole project. And it's something that's really approachable and affordable for people, I think, which I want to keep that element of my business forever.
No, 100%.
You know, every designer's goal is to be working on mega projects. Of course it is, but I'm always going to keep my services really affordable and approachable for people. I want them to be within reach for everybody, because I think everyone deserves to have a really beautiful space.
I love that.
Oh, that's so cringe.
It's not. I love that.
It is. It's true though. Like I feel like everybody deserves to have, even if it is, you know, just like my house, a terraced house. You know, just everyone deserves a space to either come home to, or a space to give the client something different.
No, I love that, because I think that's so true. Like, there's nothing better than seeing someone's face at the end of a project, regardless who it is.
I cry every time. Every time.
It doesn't like it, but it doesn't matter how much they've spent on it. Like, I mean, you could spend £100 or £1,000,000, but the same reaction is the hard work you've put in and what the client wants. If you can deliver that, there's no, you can't explain it to anyone else but yourself.
No.
And as well, like,
the feeling.
Yeah, and sometimes if you like make a big like decision or risk and you say to the client, yeah, that'll work. I've done it so many times. And then when you see it done, you're like, oh my God, that's actually worked. I'm so buzzing over that. No, there's literally no better feeling now, like over that. Like, that is the best part of projects and like anything. But I mean, I know you said about like you want it to be for like anyone and everyone, which is true. But do you have a dream project that you'd like to do? Because I would love to design like amazing restaurants. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've always thought residential was like my bag.
Yeah.
But the more I'm doing commercial spaces, particularly salons, I just love it. I just think you can be so creative and like I love sort of. I mean, I genuinely do, and this is not just me saying it. Like I do love every single type of interior design.
Yeah.
Like even to like pop up restaurants. I'd love to do. I don't know if you've seen it. I can't remember what it's called, but I think it might be called Hatch or something. But it's basically a row of restaurants in Manchester that are all in like old containers, like shipping containers, and it's really cool. That. I'd love to do something like that.
Oh,
I really want to do something. I'd love to renovate an old church. That's like one of mine.
I've seen so many people on Instagram do them into houses.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know whether I'd be a bit spooked out though because it's like a church. Imagine if there was like a graveyard and you wake up and there's just a graveyard outside.
Like you sat there measuring up like.
No, I know. Like that would be my only thing, but that's boss. You'd be boss at that.
Yeah.
But I agree, like at first mine was like when I first started very residential.
Yeah.
But then when you get commercial plans, you're like, wow, this is like a next level. Like
commercial's a lot harder. There's a lot more to think about from sort of regulation point of view.
Yeah, and even just like daft stuff. Like I went to a restaurant the other day and I couldn't like when I took my chair in, my legs were jammed and I was like,
God.
You have not had an interior design. Yeah.
I'm so judgmental of people's spaces and I think I can't be like this.
No, I know. I'm like that because like I just think that is like a genuine like first hand requirement.
Yeah.
Like to make sure, and it's stuff like that as you're saying, like you need to make sure there's a walkway path regardless of the design. Yeah. And like I was just thinking, have you even hired a designer? Because if you have, I need to know who it is because this is a shock. Yeah. Like, I can't even get my legs under the table to enjoy me tea. Do you know what I mean?
I know. It's almost so bad. Like, you know, the like sofas that you're supposed to eat your dinner on or whatever, and you're so far away from the table because the sofa is that like low.
Yeah.
That you're literally having to like eat. Like it's impossible. Yeah. There's so many things that don't get thought about, which is a designer's job to think about.
Yeah, 100%. That's our job. Hence why we are underrated members of the public. Yeah, but I feel like as well, loads of people are wanting to get into interiors. So did you know you wanted to do that, or what was your like starting point? From that?
Mean, for me, I always thought I found it when I was 21. So I don't remember the point. I don't remember the sort of point where I thought, oh, I'd like to be an interior designer. I just remember thinking one day I'm going to do a diploma and see how I get on, because I've never really had like a direct path. I've always just kind of been, oh, I'll try that and then like drop out halfway through, or I've never really had like a proper plan. But then I got a really, really nice message from a girl who I used to go to school with a few weeks ago, and she said, Jess, it's so nice to see you doing what you've always wanted to. And I was like, oh my God, do you remember me wanting to do this? And she said, oh yeah, I remember so vividly you saying when you were like 14, oh, I want to be an interior designer. And I never knew that.
Stop.
I know.
Oh
I don't remember that at all. So I always thought it was my 21st birthday, and I sat and thought, do you know what? I'm gonna do a diploma and see how I get on, because I've literally got like half qualifications and everything.
Who did you do that with? If you don't mind me asking.
So the diploma I did with what are they called? The Interior Design Institute.
Yeah, they're quite popular actually.
Yeah, they are. I would say who I did my degree with are amazing. Yeah. They do a diploma as well. So like promotion wise, I would 100% say them. Like,
yeah, go in that really direction, good. Everyone.
Yeah, don't do the one. I'm doing the one. It's good. Don't get me wrong, but it's based in Australia. So the communication isn't brilliant.
Oh no.
But yeah, so I did my diploma, and then I absolutely loved it. Like, I can't describe the feeling. Like, you'll know what it feels like when you I mean, I was obviously 21 at this point, and my whole life had been searching for this like purpose. And then the first time so the first module was literally just writing an essay about a space. And oh my God, I was just going. And I must have done about 4,000 words on one picture.
Oh, I love that.
And I just thought, this is it. Like, this is it. Yeah. And like, got like, you know, like the sort of best marks I could in my diploma, and I just knew it. I was like, this is it. Yeah. And then ever since then, I've literally not stopped. Like, I've just been tunnel vision, do it. Yeah,
that's good. That's because I feel like a lot of people struggle to find that something, and to find it like so early on. I did
for so long.
Yeah, for so long. 21. I know. So long.
I know, like I'm 50. There's so much pressure nowadays as well to decide so quickly what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's impossible. There's absolutely no way that you can decide your entire life at the age of 16.
No, and as well, going back off the social media thing, it's definitely influenced from that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, everyone's like showing you the best bits of 24 hours, like my best hour, and then you're like, oh my God, this person's got their life together, when really they mightn't. Do you know what I mean? And it's about like finding that something, finding your purpose and rolling with it. And like, that was like me. Like, I knew I wanted to do it, but it was that start for me. Like, how do I start? When do I start? And like, knowing like I was coming out to uni, and knowing like, as you said before about the social media and having that free platform, I was like, I need to jump on this, because 50 years ago, all these people, you know, would have jumped on that. So why aren't I? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it's definitely like something to do. And like, you know, like, you're technically self-taught, really, aren't you? Because you didn't like go to uni and be like, you just didn't know, but you found it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so I I'm kind of an all or nothing type person. So once I'd decided I was doing it, I was doing a degree, and I was doing it. I've still got my third year to finish. Yeah. Like, I've still not finished my third year. It literally all just came from nowhere. That farmhouse is like full on, just catapulted. Yeah.
That's good though, that was your starting point, and you always remember that. Yeah. And you probably, I bet at the time you were like, I don't know whether to post this. Like,
I just sort of thought like, well, like, what, I don't know, am I an interior designer now? Like, you know, I'm completed my second year. Like, am I not? And I thought, you know what? No, I will. Because I've done a few projects before, like, but essentially all for free, you know, just for my portfolio.
Yeah, of course.
Which was literally what I did for 4 years. Yeah. You know, just working for free or working for really cheap just to build my portfolio. And then I kind of got to a point where I thought, no, I can do this. Yeah. You know, and people clearly think I can, because they're asking me to. So it was all just kind of came from nowhere.
That's kind of like imposter syndrome sometimes though. You're like, oh my God, no, can I do this? Am I good at this? And when you get a job, you're like, like, you go back and question yourself, and you're like, oh my God, I've just took on this big project, and I'm like thinking, am I even like that good? Like,
it's so true. Every time I'm like, but you get there because we take the time, and it's all about, you know, it's one of those industries where experience is everything, but you'll never experience the same thing twice.
Oh, 100%.
So you can, you know, experience is huge, and you learn, like, I still and will continue to learn so much every single day for the rest of my career, because there's nothing ever the same. Like, every project has a different challenge or a different problem that needs a solution, and you just can't, there's no degree or no course that can prepare you for that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's just being on it and working it out when you're there.
Yeah, and even like having all the qualifications and stuff and things like that, sometimes it's actually implementing it. Because I know so many people, because I did business in uni, and I know so many people who did interior design, and I was like, oh, should I have done interior design? But people were like, honestly, like, you learn more like being hands-on as opposed to the learning side, because if you've sort of like, obviously it's great to have, I'm not like, it's true to have, but like, I think if you're panicking and thinking, oh, I want to get into it and I want to do it, like, I say to people, just go for it, because you should, because I feel like there's no better experience than having the experience. There isn't. That makes sense. Even if it is for free, as you said, like, I've done so many for nothing. Yeah. And the time it takes, don't get me wrong, but building yourself and your confidence is worth more than the money.
It is 100%. You know, having that belief in the fact that, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we can all have these amazing softwares, and we can have, you know, all these sort of years of experience, but the bottom line is, are you a good designer?
Yes.
That's the bottom line. Yeah. And you can have the best, this is really blunt, but you can have the best software and a really good team around you. But if you've not got it, you've not got it.
Yeah. No, yeah.
And that's really like straight to the point.
Yeah, no, it's brutal but true.
It's true. It is like it's very much an industry where you kind of you sort of can't teach that in a sense. You can, like, obviously I mean my, you know, the degree was brilliant and I loved it, but I've learned tenfold more in the last 6 months than what I did in those 3 years of studying.
Yeah.
Because it is just one of those industries.
Yeah.
It's exactly like learning to drive. You do your lessons to learn how to pass your test, and then you learn how to drive after you pass your test.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
No, that is 100% it.
Yeah.
And then not everyone's a great driver, so not everyone's a great interior designer.
I'm horrendous. I'm like singing away to Shania Twain, and I'm like, oh God, sorry.
Shania Twain.
Yeah, like full on. Man, I feel like a woman every day.
Stop it, I love that. No, but definitely, like, I do think if you've either got it or you haven't, it sounds awful.
It sounds harsh, and I mean, I sort of feel like you can. It's that creative. It's those creative juices. You either have them or you don't.
And you get like I know it sounds daft, but I feel like you can relate a vibe in you.
You do.
When you see a space, like I automatically, if I walk into space, I already get like millions of ideas just coming at me, and I'm like, oh my God, like you need to take a breather. And I get like so excited about a project, and I'm like, oh my God, like I can just vision it now. And then I go home and I'm like writing everything down, getting pictures and things. And I feel like if you haven't got that, like you haven't got it. Because you've got to go in with I don't know, the feeling. I can't explain it.
It's the best feeling ever.
Yeah, if you're like passionate about design, you'll just know it. And as well, like I'm terrible. Like if I go out or go to someone's or whatever, and like there's something new or like a new restaurant, everyone else will be eating the food. But I'm like, wow, like, great choice. Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I've got? This, and it shows me now that I'm just like way too in this. I'll walk into a restaurant that it can be in a different country, and I'll go, I know where that light's from.
Yeah.
Like, literally, it gets to the point where you're like, oh, I'm too in this. Like, I'm way too in this.
No, do you know what that reminds me of when I was on the Minerva podcast a few months ago, this sofa, and I was sitting there the whole time thinking, I know where that sofa's from, and it's bugging me.
Yeah.
I don't. And I was going to you, it's from IKEA, isn't it? The Tom Dixon range. And you were like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I feel mortified. But like, it's so true.
It is.
Even if you are in another country, you're like, where have I seen that? And it's like when I go on Instagram and I like spot things that people have bought, and I just know where it's from.
Yeah, you do.
And I love that, because if I ever want something, then I know where I can get it. As where other people are like, wow, where's this sauce from? And I'm like, I already know, Googling away.
Yeah, like paint colours. I do paint colours. Yes. Like someone can, like, I'll go into a room and they'll go, I can't remember what colour it was that we used. And I was like, oh, it's that.
Oh my God, no, I need that. And I'm not so much good at that. Like, I'm like, there's literally 400 varieties, and I'm like, oh my God, what was the name of that one and that one? I get all
I just use little green all the time, and I use them so often. So when I see one, I'm like, there it is.
Do you know what? Speaking of little green, I listened to a podcast about it, the one who owns it, and oh my God, I feel like I will be transitioning now to little green, because the science behind it paint is insane. Like, you wouldn't believe, like, the whole lighting and getting the right, like,
it is. I studied it. That's why I use it. So I used it I did a diploma or a module on sustainability. Yeah. And their paints are fully sustainable. So no VOCs or anything. They're amazing. It's amazing.
Because I know like a lot of paints can be like damaging to yourself, health and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's really.
But the colours, oh my God, the colours are just amazing.
There's so many, isn't there?
Yeah, like that. Literally I did Hope Salon. And that was all little green.
Oh, was it?
All their pinks.
That was a gorgeous salon.
Thank you.
I absolutely loved that. That was amazing.
Gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
No, so during the podcast, like from now, I'll be doing a little segment where we are gonna talk about maybe dislikes and likes. Okay. So I feel like as a designer, you have interior guilty pleasures, so something that you shouldn't like but you do, and also something that's a bit of like a holy show. So multiple times I've just walked in and gone, oh my God, that's absolute show, like I cannot deal with it, but we move on. And then there's stuff that I've seen that I'm like, I shouldn't like that, but I do. So what is yours?
I think something that I shouldn't like but I do, just in day to day, is really muddy construction sites. I love them. I think, because there's like, put me in a construction site over a proper formal meeting room any day.
Yeah.
Like just in my Dubarry's, I'm in a fluffy jumper, like with
More
all the
vibey.
tradies, like just put me on there any day
Yeah.
over a really posh meeting room that I have to look really posh in.
Yeah.
Like I think this is the first time all year that I've not worn my Dubarry's.
I love that.
Like I'm just a proper country girl, happy being muddy, happy with my car
Love
being
that.
muddy. So yeah, that's probably mine.
Yeah, but it's more chilled, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
so, yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, I like being more like, I hate like sometimes when you meet clients and you're
Like
like,
a new client meeting.
It's just too formal. Like, I need the laid backness because I'm laid back and then I get awkward and I start laughing. It's just like a big circle of panic.
I know.
But definitely that's a good one. I actually like that. And also, and mad as it sounds, like being in that environment, it's like, wow, this is a bit of a mess them in. But I can't wait to see what it's like. So that is actually an enjoyable thing.
Yeah,
but you shouldn't
I
like
just love it
because you're muddy, but like you do at the same time.
Yeah, like
Do you
it's
know
just,
what I mean?
it's so good seeing it come together. Like you go one week and then you go the next week and it's all plasterboarded, and then you go the next week and it's all plastered, and it's just so nice seeing that progression. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And is there anything you absolutely like think, oh my God, no, a show, hate that, anything? Are you a girl of colour? Are you a girl of neutrals? Anything?
I'm genuinely not. I'll stick by this my entire career. I don't have a signature style, and I never will. I don't.
Do you reckon you can though? Because I think it's hard to say you have a signature style because the variety of customers, clients.
Yeah, precisely.
You can't ever like say, oh well. I don't know, you can't just say, oh, well, no, I only do that because I want that space to be for you. So I will do whatever you want to do.
And I mean, this is very, it is a big thing in the industry, having a signature style. So very high up designers have a signature style.
Yeah.
But it's purely because they've got their businesses to a point where people go to them for that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So while as like, I don't want my business to be like that. I want mine to, I fully admire it because I just think like, wow, for you to have that nailed down to a point where people come to you for that specifically is great.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it probably gets quite monotonous.
Yeah.
Like doing something, I want to be working with totally different things on every single project.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I do really like colour. So I mean, obviously being a designer, it's hard to sort of say what like your favourite things are, but I've just moved into a house with my partner and I've done it totally differently to how I thought I would.
Yeah.
And I mean, I chose all the bits, moved in, and then I've not done a single thing since the day we moved in. Like we're still living out of suitcases and we've been there 3 months. It's a nightmare. I just haven't had the time.
I feel like as an interior designer, you're too busy focused on everyone else's, and when it comes to your place,
totally
you're like,
neglected.
have you even done anything?
Yeah. But no, I've done like, I've actually done it really differently to how I thought. And I think every project I do, I have a different appreciation for that type of style. So like the farmhouse, for example, when I did that one, I thought, it was just gorgeous. And I loved how sort of calming and just really clean it was.
Yeah.
But then I've just done a really quite masculine design.
Yeah.
And I just think, I love all that. So it's so hard to choose.
Yeah, I don't think I think I'm the same. I'd never want to have like such a signature because everyone's so different, and I never like I wouldn't have like, say for example, I always say like I don't think I'd have like mad colours in mine.
Yeah.
But then like I've done projects where I've done like crazy wallpapers because I love it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't mean that I hate it. I love doing stuff like that. Just maybe not in mine, but like in yours, But like I don't think like you can ever do something so like particular for everyone. Like you've got to maneuver and like mold yourself into that next project
because you're providing a service that's specifically for one person or a target market.
Yeah.
So you can't in a sense. I mean, in terms of things like the things that you've learned and your style in terms of, how you lay out a space, or I have my own style and things that I certainly wouldn't do and things that I do on a regular basis, but that's more how I approach projects rather than how I would design a space.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in terms of sort of disliking things, my thing is definitely crushed velvet. I can't stand it. I'll never, ever be responsible for it.
I love that.
Sorry, I won't. But I think more sort of, I suppose more in day-to-day of the job, I think for me the hardest thing, and I do struggle with it, is letting go of control. Once sometimes I'll have spent months on a design and then handing that design to say, a contractor or a tradesperson or whoever for them to implement it is hard.
Yeah. No,
like,
different.
it's hard.
I hate that aspect because I'm so, like, in control, and I've genuinely got
micromanagement, and it's hard not to do it.
And when you're on your own as like your own business, and you're like, oh my god, no, like, do I trust that person to do that? If I come back and it's a disaster, like, I'll sob. Do you know what I mean?
And it's everything. It's hard to give someone total control of something that is an entire reflection of you at the end. You know, like, I can design a piece of joinery, and I've got to entrust somebody else to make that for me and make it how I've got it in my head. And it's a hard thing to do, to kind of let go. But then at the same time, I couldn't make it myself, so I've got no choice. So but to be fair, like, that's a massive part of the job, is finding people that you can work with and work well with. And I'm sort of, you know, starting to get a really good team now, which is
amazing,
finally happening, which is great.
Time and it all happens, doesn't it? Oh, that's amazing. Right, so I also want to, you know, be two interior designers together. We want to give someone good interior design advice. So before, I did ask on my stories if anyone would like some advice off us and any questions. Amazing. So, I mean, I did get sent in quite a few, which is, like, amazing, don't get me wrong, but there's not enough time for us to answer them all. So let's see, what do you want to use? Wow, there's actually so many. So we've got... Oh, this might be a good one for us, actually. Okay. So a girl called Kate has asked how to not be influenced by trends and find your own personal style. Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. I think if I'm honest, a trend is very... Say, for example, like a teddy bear chair is a trend. But if... In my opinion, if you like it, you like it. Things like, say, for example, paneling.
See, that was another question. Someone says, do you think paneling will fade out? Is it worth getting? Because I know so many people are investing in their homes to have paneling. And is it worth it? Do you know what I mean?
In my personal opinion, it depends what type of paneling. If you get, like, a really decorative moulding, so for me, like, one of my degree assignments, and I sort of, what I was essentially tasked with was designing a show home. And what I wanted to do was kind of really instill, like, some character in it. And I think paneling does that. It does have this sort of feeling of a bit more character and a bit more personality. I personally do like it.
I do.
I really like it. I've not actually yet put it in a design. In fact, I have. I've just designed a salon with it in. I'm saying that. But yeah, I personally do really like paneling. I think it's lovely. And if anything, it just kind of, it breaks up the wall space. And just kind of, all of these older traditions are now coming back in. But in their new sort of quirky way.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the question, like, trends, I think it depends what you mean by that, because trends that we're seeing in the media in terms of magazines and things aren't trends we're seeing on Instagram. So I think it's kind of choose your trends wisely, because I know a lot of people, like, jump on things and then a year later they're like, oh, I've just spent, like, thousands of pounds on this and now no one on Instagram's got it. And
crushed
it's like,
velvet sofa.
100%. Big investment piece.
It's 100%. That was a trend a few, like, say, I don't know how many years ago it was, but that was massively a trend. And I think it's still, unfortunately, here. But I think it's here still.
Here's me sitting here with a crushed velvet headboard thinking,
oh my God,
thinking.
I'm so sorry.
Oh my God, let's get her off the show.
I've just got a real thing for it. I find it really offensive.
Do you know what I find offensive? Too much of something, though.
Yeah,
that's the difference.
I do. I think
if there's, like, 5 crushed velvet sofas, I was sitting there, like, I literally said this the other week because I did a YouTube video and someone was like, I hate crushed velvet, and I was literally sitting in my room, my headboard was behind me, and I was like, I need to get rid of this headboard. Like, I'm not even taking pictures of my room for Instagram anymore. Like, I hate this now. Like, honestly.
Oh no. So, I mean, I think trends are very much, at the end of the day, they're a trend because they work.
Yeah.
I would never design to trend.
No, I wouldn't.
Just because it's a trend.
No.
But yeah, I think a trend's a hard one. I mean, things like fashion's a lot more on trend, I suppose. Like, interior design is so subjective.
Yeah.
And it's so, I don't personally, my personal opinion, I don't actually think the interiors world is necessarily run by trends. I think the retail world is. I mean, you're probably a bit more
definitely
kind of into that than me, but I would never sort of think when I'm designing a space, okay, what's on trend? I would never do that.
Like, I think like fast fashion is happening. It's not so much fast interiors, but I think Instagram's making it come that way, like with trends. But I think with your personal style, it is what it says, your personal style.
Yeah.
Don't get something because, oh, everyone on Instagram's got the donut bars from H&M. I must get the donut bars. Like, no, like if you want to get like a bright green sofa and it's not on trend, who cares? Like, if that makes you happy in your home, don't just get like the sofa that's on trend. Don't get the wall panels because everyone on Instagram's got it. Like, I find more appreciation in people's homes that aren't like everyone else's. I don't want to see everyone else's house the same and everyone else's house paneling. I'm not saying paneling's bad, but I don't want everyone to be.
But everybody's doing it.
So
many
you're not unique
people
then. That's not your personal style. That's Instagram style. That's not your style.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the time it's not being 100% sure what to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, people who are, say, just wanting to give the room a little bit of a freshen up, you know, just bring it really back to basics and start with, okay, what don't you like about it? You know, is it the fact that, you know, you install paneling to create a focal point, that's why you do it on one full wall, or you do it to kind of give a bit of personality if you wrap it around, say, the lower part of your wall.
Yeah.
But I think try and sort of figure out what it actually is you're wanting to achieve at the end of it. If you just start doing some paneling and then if you like it, great. But I think it's doing things that are a little bit different as well. So like I've just used it in a design of mine and I put some, so I would have eventually when we get to physically doing the project, we'll have mirrors cut into the shape. So that it's just a little bit different and it's not just paneling that's the same colour. We'll have wallpaper cut into the shape of it and it's just being a little bit different, I suppose.
Yeah, and changing maybe a trend to suit your style.
Yeah, definitely. Because everything interiors are, there should be a reflection of whoever is in that interior.
Yeah.
And it's exactly the same as how you dress. You know, you dress to suit what kind of style you like, but you also dress to suit what suits your body shape and what suits, you know, how you want to feel in that day. If you want to be comfy, you wear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. You should design your interior around that as well.
Oh, amazing. I love that. That's like a note to finish on, isn't it? That's amazing. Right, well, I just want to say thanks so much for being my first ever guest. I can't believe it.
I know, it's been amazing.
I feel like first we were like, oh God, like,
I know.
and we've literally like voice noted for a year and now we've not stopped talking, to be honest. So sorry to everyone.
Literally every day, like, hi.
No, literally. But thank you so much for coming on. And if you're not already, make sure you do follow Jess over on Instagram. So yeah.
Thank you.